That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, the 11th film directed by James Wan, which Warner Brothers is releasing December 22nd, 2023.
Name a James Wan film I know.
Oh, you know, several. He's responsible for many contemporary franchises, including his debut Saw, Insidious, and Malignant, the first Aquaman film. Furious 7. He's dabbled in other franchises as well, and Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon, which I've never seen, and Dead Silent, which, you know, he has an affinity for creepy dolls.
This film. Now, this is the IMDb premise as of today, December 21st. Aquaman balances his duties as king and as a member of the Justice League, all while planning a wedding. Black Manta is on the hunt for Atlantean tech to help rebuild his armor. Orm plots to escape his Atlantean prison. I don't know who wrote that. That's not quite accurate, but...
No, some of those things aren't happening.
Anyway, so Aquaman, from the last time we saw him back in 2018, whatever. So now he's married to Amber Heard, and they had a baby, and he's the king of Atlantis, and his brother, Patrick Wilson, was put away.
After the coup d'etat.
So he's just living life, running things, when we see that David, not Stingray. What's his name?
Manta. Black Manta.
Oh, Black Manta.
Played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen II.
He is still mad because Aquaman's responsible for the death of his father, Michael Beach.
Good old Michael Beach, yep.
And he has spent all his time trying to avenge his father's death. And how he's going to do that is he needs to find Atlantis so he can...
Also to repair his...
Because he thinks if he finds Atlantis, he can repair his suit, which gives him his powers. So he's assembled a team led by this doctor, played by Randall Park.
Yep, Dr. Shin.
So the opening of the film is Dr. Shin is like somewhere out in like the North Pole or something, looking for... His coordinates have taken him to this piece of ice where he thinks Atlantis is. And he does find something. So Black Manta and the doctor and their helpers fall into like this ice tavern, and they find a black trident. And we find out that black trident belonged to the leader of a lost city. So however many kingdoms there are, this one is like the one that was never written about.
Well, it was taken off the books.
It was taken off the books because the leader of that kingdom...
Necris.
...was evil. Like he was trying to destroy surface dwellers.
With a brief snippet of Pilo Aspect as King Necris.
So a blood curse was put on him, so he's banished for eternity. But the Black Trident is kind of like he's a genie in a bottle.
It's more like, it's also like Lord of the Rings, where you put the ring on and you hear Mordor calling.
Oh, I haven't seen those. But yeah, so I guess like that. So when David grabs the Black Trident, this Necris, I guess the spirit of Necris is telling him, like, if you can get me out of this blood curse, I'll give you all the power you want. So now that's what David's doing. The film fast forwards like 5 months. So we don't really know what David has been up to, except that he's been collecting this power source called orichalcum, which we're told was this, whatever this byproduct is, has a lot of energy, but it creates greenhouse gases.
This Atlantean, this archaic Atlantean power source.
But, so that's like a side plot, but...
So it's like sewage.
I guess, but we don't find out until after the halfway point that the way to break this blood curse is they need royal blood. So it would either be like Nicole Kidman, Aquaman, or Patrick Wilson. And
Amber Heard goes, it's a blood curse. And Nicole Kidman goes, yeah, but a blood curse is just DNA.
Yeah, she says DNA. and then that's when they go, oh my God, it would also apply to our son. And then we cut to Black Manta has stolen Aquaman's baby and nearly killed Aquaman's dad. But... of course, Aquaman is able to get his child back. They do get blood from Aquaman, very easily. He just gets punched in the face, and then the blood falls on this thing that breaks the blood curse. Necris, this evil demon, pops up, and when I tell y'all, not only is Black Manta but Necris dispatched so easily, and then all's well that ends well, and the final scene is Aquaman gets his wish by introducing Atlantis to humans because he thinks that we can work together. We can solve like global warming and the end.
Mm-hmm. Yep, this is really a DC comic book superhero film about environmental ills.
We should have given our pull quotes. What's yours?
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. To see this film again, I don't wish.
Oof.
Because I feel like we have to channel Dr. Seuss because this GD movie was written for children.
I don't even think, well, mine. Words I would use to describe Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Random, scattered, busy, pointless, corny, loquacious, and tedious.
Oh God! But all the time, the comedy is egregiously terrible. But we have to drag this screenwriter, David Leslie Johnson-McGoldrick, who also wrote Orphan, Wrath of the Titans, and a couple Conjuring movies, including that really, really bad one, The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It.
This story is so dumb, and like there's so much dialogue, so much exposition. It's like I was so bored sitting there.
Oh yes.
The jokes are not funny. Some of these lines these characters like actually say. I mean, I know these actors were like, really, you want me to say that? Like, oh, just so corny. I have 36 questions on my iPad.
Okay. Well, first of all, I knew we were in trouble when we open. We actually opens with Jason Momoa on a glowing, neighing seahorse named Storm.
Well, that's question number 34.
Oh.
Why is the seahorse neighing?
Yeah, it's not Pegasus. It's a seahorse named that should have been named Stormy Daniels.
We only have 22 minutes, so you can probably get through your stuff through my questions. Why was Aquaman surprised when the child he has with another superhero has powers?
Yes, they sit the child in front of a fish tank, and it's making
Controlling the fish.
the goldfish. Also, that child in quick succession, we say 2 scenes where it's clearly a different baby because the eye color is different.
Or that.
How? That,
But you have powers that control sea creatures in the water. Your baby mama has the same powers. And then when he finds out his kid can do it, he is flabbergasted. Like,
Jason Momoa, we both talked about this at length. I think we both really like him as a person and a personality, and in some stuff he really works. His Aquaman just seems like a dolt.
also, he doesn't appear to be in fighting form. He just looks like a stoner beach guy running around like, I don't know. It just doesn't work. It gets tiresome so fast that every line out of his mouth is a joke. Like nothing serious.
But it'd be one thing if it was a good joke.
I didn't feel anything for anyone. Because I will admit, in some superhero movies, there's always that moment where I get a little teary-eyed because it's like, yay, they, even though it's manipulative, it still made me, there was nothing about this movie. Even when they grab the baby and then you think that, the baby's not going to die in like a PG-13 DC movie, but still, like, I didn't feel anything.
Well, and even for the bad guy, when there are shades. This feels like echoes of Black Panther here, with some of the things going on in this film. But with Black Manta, I don't feel anything for. He just seems ridiculous. Like
he seems so ridiculous.
You're gonna ruin
to the
world.
point that he's annoying. Like you're gonna destroy all of humanity because you're mad that Aquaman let your dad die. Maybe you need to. He needs therapy to really figure out why he has so much anger and why he can't see that his father brought that shit on himself.
And the storytelling, it's just so adolescent, and it feels really derivative because then Aquaman Arthur is his name, Arthur Curry, decides that the only person that can help me is my old brother Orm, who I had to dispatch in the last film, so I have to release him. And then Orm takes him to this place called the Sunken Citadel that Aquaman has no idea exists.
When he said that, I was so shocked. You were the king of Atlantis. The Earth is not that big. We can fly around it. So I don't know how there are all these parts of the ocean that you are just like, you can't believe there's something there.
So then it feels all Star Warsy, and him talking to this Kingfish, voiced by Martin Short, who looks like Jabba the Hutt with that creature from Lilo and Stitch mixed.
Yes, exactly like that. Let me keep going. The Council of Atlantis, which is led by India Moore, who
Karshan.
I was glad to see her in that role, although the dialogue and all that felt a little crunchy. But my biggest takeaway from the Council of Atlantis is they have no solutions. We're told that a plague is hitting several of the kingdoms because of global warming. And they don't have any solutions. Aquaman's trying to say, well, what we need to do is work with humans to use their technology with ours to figure out a way to stop this. And the council's like, no, we don't like that.
It's just like when Obamacare got shut down.
It's just so stupid. Like, what is the point? I don't even know why we even...
Well, they're useless. But then, of course, what's also really just boring. It's like, so the whole trajectory of Orm and Aquaman and somebody wanting to conquer the humans on top is the same as King Necros and his brother. Like, that's the same.
So why didn't we just
dispute.
focus on that story then? Or, okay, I thought David, Black Manta, was annoying. The Doctor...
Oh, poor Randall Park.
Oh, I couldn't stand him.
I do like Randall Park.
He's cute, but I mean,
cute.
He was so annoying, this character. Like, he just,
He reminded me a lot of, it's kind of that same vibe that Jermaine Clement is giving in Avatar Way of the Water. Is like, I'm working for this bad man, but I don't really want to be.
He looks scared all the time, and then kind of written like almost like comedic, but he's not joking. Then... the captain of the ship that David and the Doctor are riding around in, that character's name is Stingray. I don't think we ever hear that character's name. It's this lady.
Oh, yeah. We do hear her name.
Oh, we do?
He tells her to do
something. She was like mumble shouting all of her lines. I felt like I was taking crazy pills.
Janie Zhao, I believe.
And then when she's finally...
She's in like Tira Satana mode because he tells her to do something and she starts waving her arms and shouting, and everybody's already doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Literally, everyone is already doing what they need to do and she's just shouting. Okay, when David and his people finally find Atlantis and they have developed this technology like a sonic cannon, which I guess is really powerful against the sea people because it messes up their internal clock, I don't know. All of the Atlantis army shows up to stop them. Like, intruder, if you enter this space, it will result in death. Guess who's working border patrol? Nicole Kidman and Amber Heard. Did that make any sense to you?
No.
The Queen of Atlantis and her goddamn mother-in-law are working border patrol.
Who's watching this baby?
Who's watching the baby?
Who's breastfeeding the baby also at this point?
Why is the Queen of Atlantis working security?
I don't know. Well, they had to give Nicole something to do.
Am I crazy? Didn't that look crazy when they were like working security?
It did. She has nothing to do
Border
with this
patrol?
movie.
That made no
At least
sense.
we got that bizarre shot of her wearing a fake shark fin in the first film, because seeing that was something I never thought I'd see in my life.
The minute I saw Nicole Kidman, I thought, is there Botox in Atlantis? And then I thought maybe like jellyfish have that neurotoxin that she can use.
Yes,
she looks crazy to me.
She does. There's also a sidekick, a blue glowing octopus named Topo, which kept making me think of Topo Gijo, if you remember that mouse.
No, but now I'm thinking of Topo Chico. You know, they make hard seltzer now. It's not very good. And you know, people who are into Topo Chico water, or like they act like that's ambrosia. I don't understand. I don't know, but I drink tap water.
Well, Topo is an octopus that just dumbass Jason Momoa keeps calling a squid because that's funny.
When you compare it to like the little cat in Lightyear, the Buzz Lightyear movie, Socks. But I mean, just like to have a little sidekick, and like that cat is so damn funny and cute. And then this octopus, like, you can tell they're trying to make it cute. It does not work.
This writing is terrible. Somebody has the gall to say, sometimes not giving up is the most important thing you can do, which sounds like some executive said that at Warner Brothers about keeping DC alive.
I couldn't even write down all the lines that were stupid. David, at one point, because he attacks Amber Heard, he goes, I'm going to kill me a dead mermaid. Okay?
Yeah.
Then... when Patrick Wilson gets rescued from wherever he's being held, first of all, he looks like, there's even a joke made that he looks like, what's his name? Tom Hanks in Castaway.
Which is funny because the cinematographer is Don Burgess, who lensed that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he looks emaciated with long hair, and as soon as because he's being held in like a desert area, and he's only being given enough water to keep him alive. The instant he hits the ocean, he reconstitutes.
Like pre-workout.
Doesn't that? I just thought that was crazy.
It's stupid.
But then now that as they're going to get him, the narration we get says that he's in a secret, one of a kind holding cell. Like, why would you say that?
That's run by these dead Egyptians that were some cult of death, and they
did look cool, but that was so stupid. This movie feels like an 8th grader wrote it. Or like when you had to do a book report for a book you didn't read and you wrote it like the morning of, and you just pull out like, this really felt like they just thought like, oh, put in like catchy phrases that are popular right now.
Or somebody took a creative writing course and they're just learning what subtext is supposed to be.
So because it's never explained how to get rid of the blood curse, I think it was so weird that we don't learn about that until like after the halfway point. So we don't really know what David's motivation is. Like, what is he doing?
We get we get a dump of exposition after Patrick Wilson grabs the Black Trident at one point, and then all of a sudden he knows everything about Necris. He wrote the Wikipedia page.
I was sitting in the theater like this while he was talking.
I felt bad. I actually felt bad for him because it's like he had to sit there and try to give some emotion to this really clunky, awkward exposition that's just being shit out for us so we can understand where the third act of the film is going.
Also, Patrick's character was never like, he's not like Ariel. He didn't want to be where the people are. So when he first goes up to land,
fascist.
When he's running, he runs funny because he doesn't know what to do with his arms. And then there's another moment where we see him running again, and his brother has to tell him, like, use your arms. That kind of comedy just feels so out of place with what's happening right now.
Just like the soundtrack, which apparently Aquaman's theme is Born to be Wild. I don't remember if that's in the first one, a reconstituted Born to be Wild. And then they have Norman Greenbaum, Spirit in the Sky, like... No, Spirit in the Sky
for the sea people. Yeah.
Why? But we need to talk about that running scene because that's set on an island, as we're told, somewhere in the South Pacific.
Oh yes. Well, a few things don't get. So they're somewhere in the South Pacific, and we see that because of the orichalcum and the greenhouse gases and mutating, I guess, like biology.
There's some H.G. Wells food of the gods shit going on.
There's some like huge cockroaches and mice and. We never get back to that.
No.
We also never get back to the orichalcum. We're told that this whatever resource is so powerful that it could destroy all of Earth, and that's why it had to be locked up and put away. And then we see that Black Manta has removed all of it so he could create global warming. And then we even see Dolph Lundgren's character, like, launching missiles towards where it's being held.
Yeah, I forgot about Dolph.
And then we don't even address, like, what did we do with all this stuff that you people locked up centuries ago? There's so many holes to all this shit that was brought up.
It is so...
Dolph Lundgren, I thought sounded crazy. I thought he looked crazy.
Yeah, all of his line readings are like, ooh.
Then I don't know why they kept doing this, but we kept getting like subtitles of where we are, like the locations. Who cares?
Well,
that made me mad. The uniforms for the bad guys, David's people, were so unflattering. They were like these zip-up onesies with like a drop crotch, and then they had these weird like appliques on the hips.
The production design, even in the first one, Amber Heard's hair, she looks like a roadshow clown.
She looks like someone's doing Ariel for Halloween.
I don't know, that it looked bad in the first one. It doesn't look good now. Nicole Kidman's hair, Patrick Wilson should not be that shade of blonde.
Well, the wig is wigging, the blonde's crazy. Black Manta, when he finally gets his full costume, it's like this black bug outfit. When he first walks, because he comes out of like the shadows, I giggled because I thought he looked like a robotic Catwoman.
You need to look up Christopher Guest's mascots because there's a character in Mascots that looks like that with a big head.
He looked like he was about to walk a category at a ball. It looked very femme to me. I don't know. With the hips and it was too much.
Metropolis realness. Yeah, it's just...
Another stupid scene is that sonic cannon that gets used a few times. Aquaman and his people were like, what are we going to do about the cannon? And someone has it's Aquaman who says, well, it's just like sonic whatever. Well, why don't we disrupt that with our own sonic thing? And so Aquaman calls like all the whales in the ocean.
Yep, they do show up. Mm-hmm.
To come to the sonic cannon, and then they do their little whatever. That felt so like, I don't know. Another word I could use to describe this movie is whatever.
Well, it's just everything's so frivolous and off the cuff, and it's like this.
Speaking of frivolous, the villains are dispatched so easily, and then David, Black Manta, he's like about to fall into a pit to hell, I guess, and Aquaman goes to save him, and he goes never, like, and he just commits seppuku, I guess. And I was like, girl, bye. No one cares.
Seppuku.
What's that?
That's disemboweling.
Isn't that when you kill yourself?
That is a version of it.
That's what I mean. Like, you kill yourself.
He suicided.
But who cares? Like, who wanted David to survive? Black Manta.
Well, probably the actor and his agent, but
sure.
He didn't.
Okay, we have a little bit of time. When Atlantis is revealed, we get like every news station in the world is reporting on it, that there's going to be a representative. And all I kept thinking was, did Atlantis send out a press release? How did all the news stations know? Do they have cell phones, internet, computers?
They sent fax?
Because at one point, the doctor sends his coordinates to Aquaman. Mm-hmm. But Aquaman doesn't have a computer in the ocean. I don't understand. I just don't understand the technology, which is distracting because they mention technology twice, that they want to use their technology to help humans. And Black Manta mentions it when he says, I need their technology to fix my suit. It just feels so disjointed.
Well, there's Atlantean technology that saves his father, who's on some kind of respirator, some kind of underwater type respirator.
Right. Then, now that Patrick Wilson and Aquaman have made amends, the two brothers, they had to like break Patrick Wilson out of jail, and no one can know. So Aquaman goes, well, we're just going to pretend you died. So why don't you just lay low for a little bit? But I'll need you because I'll need your advice on how to run the kingdom. That was stupid.
Oh, the dialogue is so
That was so dumb. Then there's a post-credit scene. We see when Patrick Wilson and Aquaman get to that mutated island in the South Pacific, Aquaman convinces Patrick Wilson to eat a cockroach. He tells him it's like land shrimp, and Patrick Wilson likes eating the cockroach. So the post-credit scene is that Patrick Wilson is now laying low. So he's in some coastal town at a restaurant eating a cheeseburger, and a cockroach walks by. He puts the cockroach in his cheeseburger, eats it, and he likes it. The end.
I mean, really what this film is trying to say is that amphibians are the best thing that can rule both worlds.
I don't understand why this story's so busy. I hate when there are two villains because one's always more cool than the other. I thought Necros was way more cool than Black Manta, who seems like he just needs a hug and some therapy. So I don't know why we just didn't focus on that. Like you mentioned, the story between Necros and his brother and him being banished is very similar to Aquaman and Patrick Wilson. So maybe we could have done something with that.
I don't know. This is just...
I don't know why we needed Amber Heard and this baby. Like, what else would you like to say?
Hide your tridents, hide your exes. It's a little bit of Necros.
What would you give this movie?
1. This is terrible. I'm so tired of these. I'm so tired.
The more I talk about it, the lower the score gets in my head. I think I would give this 1 out of 5. It was tedious. If I started this on an airplane, I'd probably turn it off after 15, 20 minutes. Anything else?
No.
Hit the thanks button. Listen to our podcast. Bye.